Hello 3G scholars. This is Miss Rose here with my art history video for this week, and I'm actually going to start by telling you that I'm going to change our greeting a little bit. You know, Parnassus is a school that teaches classical education, and all good classical schools try to teach scholars to look for three things: truth, goodness, and beauty. And so I want our greeting to reflect those three things. So I'm going to teach it to you right now. Here we go. Hello, my most amazing scholars of truth, goodness, and beauty. Then you will reply, hello, my most amazing teacher of truth, goodness, and beauty. And then the rest is the same. I will say, how are you today? And you can reply, ready to create. All right, let's give it a try for real. You got to answer me, okay? Here we go. Hello, my most amazing scholars of truth, goodness, and beauty. Hello, my most amazing teacher of truth, goodness, and beauty. How are you today? Ready to create. All right, great. So we are going to look at a new painting today, a very interesting painting that is going to help us along with our project about animals. So the painting I'm going to talk about today looks like this. It's called The Horse Fair, and it was painted by a woman named Rosa Bonheur. Look again real quick. So as you're looking at this painting, I want you to just notice that Rosa Bonheur was really good at painting things to look realistically. Those horses and those riders look so realistic. She also was really good at getting the detail in the foreground, but maybe doing more of an impressionist kind of look in the background. So I'm going to show you a close-up of the painting on my computer, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. And then I'll show you a short little video about Ms. Bonheur. Sometimes when I look at a painting, I try to imagine what my five senses would be experiencing if I was actually in that scene myself. And that's something that I really think about with this painting. I feel like, of course, my eyes would see a lot of motion. These horses definitely look like they're moving around. It looks like they're coming from this angle over here and trotting around in a circle and curving around to go the other direction. So a horse fair was just an event where they would be bringing horses to kind of show them off to the public. And so they would be guiding them in a circle to kind of put on a bit of a parade for the onlookers. So I feel like I would be seeing a lot of motion. I feel like my ears would be hearing interesting sounds. It's like when I look at that picture, I can actually hear the clip-cloppity sound that horses' hooves make. And the other thing I think I could hear, especially from these horses in the middle that are kind of rearing up on their hind legs, I feel like I would be able to hear them and their whinnying sound that horses make. I feel like I would be able to hear the men who are controlling the horses, riding them or leading them. I feel like I could hear them kind of yelling or making sounds to make their horses go in the direction they want them to go. There's some sun shining through these clouds over here, and I feel like right here you can definitely see the sun shining on the backs of these white horses. I feel like it would feel kind of warm to be there, and maybe there would be a little bit of a breeze because I see that there are a lot of clouds and maybe a breeze is blowing in. I feel like I would be able to smell the dust coming up from the horses' hooves here, and that I would just be able to notice that there's a lot of noise and activity going on. When I was a teenager, I had a friend named Teresa, and she had a bunch of horses that they owned out at their house in the country. And there was one day where Teresa convinced me that it would be a good idea to go for a horse ride, but without a saddle. That's called bareback riding. And so she got on the horse first, and then I sat behind her on the horse, and we started running down the road in a style called a trot. And when a horse trots, it's really bouncy. And it didn't take too long before I bounced right off of the back of that horse and landed on my head on the dirt road. I got a little bit hurt, not too bad, but I was picking like gravel out of my hair for about a day. And that made me a little bit scared of horses. So from that point on, I've always been a little nervous around them. And so for me, in this picture, I don't think I would want to be standing here where all these horses are. I would want to be way up here in the background where these onlookers are safely at a distance. So I can imagine myself kind of being up here watching the whole thing. Now, this is the part where Rosa Bonheur, she just uses like an impressionistic style back here. The people that she puts here are so much in the distance that they don't need a lot of detail. They're just kind of splotches of color, and you can tell that they are people, but there's not a lot of detail. However, when you look at the detail in the foreground, if you look here at the men and the horses right at the front of the picture, you can see a lot more detail in these people. So this man, you can see all the detail of his hair and the wrinkles in his shirt. You can see his fist, and that's showing you that that's in the foreground. Now, I'm going to show you a video about this painting, and I want you to watch for a certain bit in the video where they talk about this character right here with the blue shirt. All right, I'll show you that video now.
Rosa Bonheur is one of the most important women artists of all times. I think it's a fair thing to say. She was extremely famous in her own day, not just in France, but also abroad. She was really the first female artist to reach that level of international fame. It's very important to stress. Rosa Bonheur was born in 1822 in Bordeaux, and her father was actually a painter. She was mischievous, boyish, and very lively child, and she had decided that her interest was in animals and that she would draw and paint animals. She was successful from a very young age, and her father so much believed in her that he predicted, and I quote him, she would surpass Madame Vigée-Lebrun. She started exhibiting her work at the Salon when she was 19, and she was very soon awarded medals, doing very well as a very, very young woman. By the time she was 30, she was able to buy a chateau where she kept all kinds of animals, horses, yak, even lions, which would serve as subjects, of course, for her paintings. What really confirmed and consolidated her reputation was the horse fair. She started to work on it in 1851, and which she sent to the Salon in 1853, and that was a springboard to global fame. This is a painting which is now in the Metropolitan Museum in New York, and the painting which we have at the National Gallery is a reduced version by Rosa Bonheur of that very large work. She started to regularly attend horse markets in Paris twice a week for a year and a half, so she was very committed. It was, of course, extremely unusual for a woman to attend horse markets at the time. It was a very, very much a male sphere. In fact, Rosa complained about being repeatedly harassed. To avoid this, she actually requested from the Paris police authorities a special permission to be allowed to wear male clothes, an artist's smock, trousers, and boots. And she obtained it because she wore her hair short and had a quite boyish manner, meant that she could work and focus on her project completely undisturbed. She is there catching in a male crowd, depicting a very male scene. The rider right in the middle of the composition wearing a blue smock. This is believed to be Rosa Bonheur's self-portrait gazing straight at us. She was actually quite keen on communicating that image of a woman artist dressed in male attire. Even though she was modern, critics judging her art and the public wasn't necessarily that advanced. The reviewers always remarked the fact that these works were actually done by a woman.